Well, looks like the final pieces from Blue Ridge showed up early. Supposed to be here Monday. We got our left side. Well, this is the final sizing piece. I have to check this on the tube for Chase. He's at the very end of having all the data he needs to move forward with production. So that should be cool. I'll check that in a minute. Got our left side RAL. That's neat. Cool. Cool. We got our 10 round FDE RAL, whatever they call it, magazine. I noticed I was dragging a bit on the bench, so thought it made sense to snag a 10 spot. Cool. Then we got our gigantic. The size of that castle nut, that's got to be the biggest one that exists. Well, I've never seen a castle nut on a. Does it 50 cal? Yeah, they must have one. For an AR, that's a big fucker. So, we're at a point where we gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. As far as boxing it carefully and reinforcing it with as much stuff I can, and using a box that's super thick. So when these assholes, and they are assholes that work in these UPS type hubs especially, I mean, some of the boxes are so fucking abused. It's obviously intentional. They just have a mission to destroy your shit. That's the only thing that makes me uneasy. Plus, it's a lot of money to send in a box. You know? You can insure it all you want, but most of the 2A stuff with these companies, they still fight you. I've seen lots of guys in groups that say they've lost a lot of high dollar stuff that they've sent or they've ordered. And they go back and forth with the distributor, whether it's UPS or USPS or FedEx. And usually when it's gun related, anything 2A related, especially if they're gun parts or a complete gun, it falls on deaf ears a lot of the time. So that's why I was hesitant to send in that CAC upper, just to see why that second bolt. I was like, fuck it. The one I had works. Offload it, just take the loss. Should have thought it over before I bought it in the first place. Now that being said, I really want this thing to get Cerakoted, so I have to think that through. Also, do I or don't I want to send this spur mount in, or just to match the Tano? It would look cool as shit. It would add to the bill. This is 34 millimeter. I still had the other idea of possibly putting the Mark V on here instead and swapping this with the LMT because it's FDE and it's a better scope. But that's a 35. Now, the S&Bs are 34 millimeter tubes. So if I ever get an S&B, this would be fine for it. If you go ZCO, they're 36 millimeter, so you got to order a whole new mount regardless if I ever win ZCO. S&B, it would be viable. Well, let me do a quick check this out for Chase. Let me grab a flathead real quick. There we go. This vice block doesn't work on that tiny little rinky dinky vice. It was moving all over the place. There we go. Alright, so this is the final sizer. Because I believe, I don't know, he sent me several different versions and, it's hard to gauge. Alright, let me take a separate video for him while we're doing this, actually, so I can send it to him. Bear with me. Hey, what's up, brother? I got your spacer. Whatever do you call this thing? Let's see how she fits. Okay. It's better, but that's still a little too much movement. The one thing I noticed is when I had the 1 and 2.0 up on the vise, is that any bit of movement, and it was kind of moving around a bit too much, so it kind of affected your ability to apply enough pressure and torque to the castle nut. And that's one of the reasons that it, yeah, see, that's flipping, so that's not, make sure that's centered. So yeah, that's still, I think you need to go a bit smaller. How to gauge that, minimal of a distance? I don't know. You're not doing it with calipers at this point. This isn't, it's in the channel. Bring it all the way to the back. So there you see that little gap on the upper right hand quadrant there. So I don't know how to gauge that though. Let me know if there's a way for me to determine that. I can try the printer paper method that you recommended. 1, then 2, then 3 sheets, and see how many sheets of paper and their thickness give it a little tension. Just let me know, and then we'll move forward from there, I guess. Cool. Enjoy your weekend, bub. All right. That's still a bit too loose. You don't want that. You want a bit of friction there so it doesn't move around on you. All right, so back to what we're doing. Yeah. So, as far as cash-wise, I don't know. Cerakoting the upper and the lower. Installing the new buffer tube. He's going to roll pin the new trigger guard once it's Cerakoted. These are all basic gunsmithing type things. They shouldn't cost a bunch of money. The Cerakote itself, I mean, it depends. I'm sending them a complete gun. They charge an extra $100 or $200 just for disassembly and all that. Then there's the Cerakote. Then there's the laser engraving, 417, and whatever else they do. There's the color fill over here. So it adds up. I'm thinking 1,000. The spur mount, probably another couple hundred, I'm guessing. I don't know how difficult those are to take apart and spray. Shouldn't be that bad. I sent him a message asking him. He's like, are these hard to Cerakote? Or he's like, not really. So, yeah, we have to make our determination and then move on forward. Look at that chat. Looks sexy as fuck right there, boy. Alright, so I'll figure it out. Should I bother installing this left hand? This is just a roll pin, so that's rather easy. The rest is a little iffy. Trying to get that little pin out. If it's going in, I'll let him do it so I don't fuck it up. And once this is Cerakoted, he's going to roll pin that HK guard. That'll be in permanently. There's no removing it. But I don't foresee a reason to have to once it's Cerakoted. So that's about it for that. I'll think it over this weekend, try to figure out the best course of action. I did post a bunch of stuff on my tack swap. The Razor 1-6 on the Reptilian mount. That's up there. I'm just not running it. I sold the Voltor lower last night to a dude. He didn't have the cash to buy the upper, so the Cast V upper is available. That's on my tack swap now, with or without the accessories. And I got the D-ring and the hex ring I never really installed, so that's available. Got the LMT MRP ODG factory upper that I never really ran much with a FDE EPC. A little dirty, but barely ran this thing. My barrel's got maybe 200-300 rounds on it max. The barrel's over here. So I got a few things up. The 6-Arc Geisley. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. With the JP bolt and the Tri-Arc carrier. Another FCD. Well, I think that's the Mallard green. I might hold on to that one. We got a bunch of other ones over here. That's the 6 Arc 12.5 that I didn't really do much with. So that's up there. Oh, I'm not sure. Did I post that one? Yeah. I get some feelers. I'm not like in a huge rush to sell stuff, but I could use a little extra cash to pay down that card some more. Because it's going to be getting hit by all the Cerakote work. Eventually, I'd like to see an S&B on this thing, but that's down the line because that's going to cost like $4,000-ish if I go that route. And if I go ZCO, it'll be similar or more actually. And not right away, but at the rate I've been going. A proper clone would be an S&B 3-20, I think. And the proper clone can on it, I think it's the Rotex V with the birdcage attachment. And I believe HK has their own proprietary elongated muzzle device. I don't know how crazy we're going to get with this clone shit, but, we'll see. And that's about it. So, hope you're having a good weekend so far. Let me send Chase that little video. And we'll go from there. See if we can figure out how to approach this. And get the balls up to throw all this in a box and send it off. And hope it arrives at its destination after paying a shitload of money. God knows what the insurance is going to be on it. I mean, the scope won't be in there. But it's going to be the whole gun. Minus a bipod in the can. It's going to be... I'm going to send them everything. Including the rail. So yeah. We'll see how we get there. It's worth it though, I think. I think it's going to look really, really cool. It'll be one of the nicest pieces in my collection. So, we went through all this hell so far. Might as well see it through, I guess. So that's about it. I'm still wondering if I should run that scope there. Swap them over with the LMT. I just zeroed both of these. So I'm like, dude, would you stop fucking moving scope? But if you're going to make a decision like that, before sending the mount off, for it's now or never, right? 5-25 versus 6-24. Mark 5 versus Mark 4. FDE versus black. I'm leaning towards swapping it over. I truly am. Now, this is QD. I can pop that off, pop it back on. It'll hold at 0. Fine. The other one isn't. However, it's pretty well mounted and solid and to spec. I wonder if we should at least do a little swap over and look at it for a little bit. You can always swap them back. I doubt it's going to affect the 0 much. A few clicks here or there. The 200 rounds showed up today of the 175 Sierra Federal Gold 308. 1,000 rounds of 124 grain Magtech. The other 147 grain PMC, I believe it was, that I ordered. I gotta check on that. I'm not sure. Well, I got too much shit on this table. I gotta reassemble some stuff and put some stuff away. Let me see if I can scooch this over with all the crap that's on here. Charging handles and BCGs all over the fucking place. Let's see if we can fit that right next to it. Oh, way big hoss. You are officially, I think, the heaviest gun I own. Oh, but you're a bad son of a bitch, that's for sure. Well, green caps. It's much bigger though. Look at the size of that. The size difference is pretty impressive. I don't know, I think I'm going to leave things alone. I think I'm eventually going to probably get an SMB, maybe. Until then, this is a very viable scope. So far, the glass looks fantastic to me. It's good quality. Leopold doesn't make garbage, for fuck's sake. I'm just trying to think about the long game. Alright, well, for now, we're not going to do anything. I think I'm going to go shoot this tomorrow if it's not storming and raining. And we might take this out for one more session before sending it off. And do a double check on that barrel and the accuracy. The rounds looked okay. It wasn't as super tight as the first time though, so I'm a little concerned. I want to shoot it since that barrel was really cleaned after all that mess. Now it's got a little carbon in it. I want to take it back and hit the 100, even the 2, and see what the groups look like again. You know? But that being the case, that's about it. So, enjoy your weekend. See you when I see you. Until next time, your pal, Jake America. All right.